The term narcissist is one that seems to be thrown around more often and more loosely these days than ever before. It's almost becoming a catchphrase that many people going through divorce use to categorize the selfish actions and behaviors of their spouse or their soon-to-be ex. Like Kleenex has become a generic term to mean tissue or Xerox mean photocopy, the term narcissist often equates to a very difficult, unreasonable, defensive or aggressive soon-to-be ex. In some cases, it really is just a typical high-conflict divorce. But yes, in more and more of the clients I work with lately, and the more I speak with colleagues who consist of divorce coaches, social workers, therapists, and lawyers, it does seem to be more often true than not that one party is actually a narcissist. And those divorces require extra attention, extra guidance for the client. And the client needs professionals who are specifically familiar and experienced with divorcing a narcissist or helping clients divorce a narcissist. The first thing I feel compelled to mention is that the mental health profession does not recognize the term narcissist as a diagnosis. A person can't be diagnosed as a narcissist. However, narcissistic personality disorder is a recognized form of mental illness with many recognizable traits and behaviors. If someone demonstrates narcissistic behaviors, they can be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. There's also borderline personality disorder, and while there are clear distinctions to these personality disorders, to the layman, sometimes the characteristics can be very similar. And, for that matter, your spouse could suffer from both. So when we're talking about divorcing a narcissist, who we are really divorcing is someone with narcissistic personality disorder. The analogy that comes to mind is something like autism, whereby there's a spectrum. No, I'm not comparing NPD to autism. What I am suggesting is that people can fit somewhere on a spectrum, on the NPD spectrum. Your spouse could display mild symptoms or characteristics of NPD up to severe characteristics and symptoms of NPD. There are many definitions of narcissistic traits and behaviors. According to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders, narcissistic personality disorder is a pervasive pattern of grandiosity in fantasy and behavior, the need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. It suggested that while the cause might have occurred during childhood, the traits and behaviors of a narcissist begin in very early adulthood or early teens. Based on studies of the narcissistic character traits and the behaviors, there always seems to be a pattern. A narcissist is wounded. Something, somewhere along the line, usually from their childhood, causes this person to feel worthless and undervalued. As a result, they constantly and desperately seek validation. So, what are the characteristics of narcissistic personality disorder? People with NPD generally have an inflated sense of self-importance. For example, they exaggerate achievements and their own talents. They feel superior even though they have no definable achievements. They have fantasies of unlimited power and their own intelligence. They believe that they're special and unique and can only be understood by or should only associate with special or other high-status people. They need excessive acceptance and admiration. They have a sense of entitlement, not necessarily gifts or tangible things, but, for example, unreasonable expectations of preferential treatment or automatic compliance by others with what their own expectations might be. They take advantage of others to achieve their own needs. And they lack empathy, unwilling to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others. They're often envious of others or believe that others are envious of them. They often seem arrogant or superior, and their biggest fears are abandonment and loss of control. So, why do narcissists seem to get away with what they do, and how are they able to convince everyone around them that they're good people? Yes, they're self-centered, and it seems so easy for them to deceive others around them. But they're actually so subtle that unless their friends actually study narcissistic personality disorder or have experienced it themselves with someone in their own life, the narcissistic behavioral traits can be very hard to spot. Furthermore, if you think about what I'm explaining in this video, you'll realize that they don't treat everyone in their world this way. They don't treat their friends the same way that they treat you. So their friends don't see it. Dealing with a narcissist requires a lot of patience. You also must set clear and firm boundaries. People with NPD often become frustrated and angry quite easily. Divorcing a narcissist can be more challenging than an ordinary divorce. During a divorce, it's common for a narcissist to refuse to negotiate. Often they won't listen to their own lawyers. They refuse to provide financial documents, or they'll falsify financial documents. I've seen them defy court orders, and often they'll use children as pawns to get what they want. I've seen them not pay spousal support or child support, and very often they make false allegations left, right, and center. So, why you? Simple, and think about whether you fit into this category. The most empathetic, sympathetic, and compassionate person around them is who they gravitate to. They're attracted to someone who's very empathetic, sympathetic, compassionate, and caring and giving. If these qualities and characteristics describe you, then you are what is known as an empath. And empaths can easily fall for a narcissist in the beginning because empaths love someone who appreciates their kind, caring, loving, and giving nature. Empaths don't want to be taken for granted. Narcissists fall deeply for someone who is empathetic towards them because it's all about them, and they crave that attention. They almost need it to survive. And empaths feel fulfilled because they're appreciated for their empathy. But what empaths don't realize is that narcissists don't appreciate someone who's better than them or fills a gap that they can't fill. Narcissists are actually jealous and envious of you if you think you're better than them, or they feel insecure because of you. They're insecure because of their shortcomings and because they have no integrity. They're jealous of people with high integrity. And because deep down, narcissists aren't really capable of feeling empathy for others because they're always feeling sorry for themselves or focused on their own gain, they're jealous of people who are capable of showing empathy. In essence, because they're self-centered, they actually want everyone around them to not shine so they can shine brighter than everyone else. So why is divorcing someone with NPD more difficult than a typical divorce? Because narcissists thrive in high conflict situations like divorce. Narcissists believe they're above the law and rules don't apply to them. They're always trying to manipulate the system and do whatever they can in order to win. They'll try everything possible to control the divorce process, including refusing to provide documents, refusing to negotiate, ignoring court orders, misinterpreting court orders to suit what they want or what it means to them. They'll lie on financials, like I said before. They will hide assets, and they'll always make false allegations of abuse or neglect. And they constantly use those allegations of abuse to play the victim role, to get pity and sympathy from their friends and people around them, or anyone who will believe in them. They have no interest in an amicable resolution, and they just want to win at any cost. Now, what I'm about to say next might be the most valuable takeaway that you get from this video. A narcissist has no desire to resolve your divorce amicably or reach an agreement or a resolution. A narcissist only cares about control and being right. And in my experience, that's all very true, but as a certified negotiator, I've also determined in my own observation of narcissists in divorce that not only do they not have the desire to reach a resolution, but more importantly, they fear reaching a resolution. Fear is the biggest obstacle and hurdle that anyone ever faces, and it stops every human from achieving whatever we want. Fear is the most powerful emotion over anything. So if you really peel that proverbial onion and look at what a narcissist fears, it's not even about winning or losing or getting the most assets and money in the end. It's not even about the kids. The biggest fear of all is the fear of loss of control over you, the empath. Nobody wants to feel controlled in life, and everyone wants to feel in control of their own life. That's only natural. But the narcissist fears losing control over you, the empath or the empathetic victim, who they've managed to control for so long. I hope you found this video helpful in understanding narcissistic personality disorder. So I encourage you to tune into my next video called Divorcing a Narcissist Part 2, where I cover some key points and strategies for preparing to divorce a narcissist emotionally, legally, and how to directly deal with a narcissist when you have to. The link is right down below in the comment section of the video.